place. It puts the wind in your sails.
Hello and welcome to the hour-long Sunday edition of SportsCenter. I'm Gary Miller along with Dan Patrick on a day of bitter conditions. It got even colder. A few teams were iced out of the playoffs on Sunday.
We start at the vet. The Cowboys there renewing old acquaintances with the Philadelphia Eagles. It was back in 1989 when the Cowboys label of America's team took on a completely different meaning. That's because everyone in America was beating them. 2 years after the season to forget, Dallas has given their fans something to remember. But one thing the Cowboys have forgotten how to do is beat the Eagles. Philadelphia has won the last 8 meetings between these two, so they're huddling. What's our game plan today? Well, how about we hit hard and hit early? Billy Bates pops. Rod Harris, Dennis McKnight kicks it into the end zone. Dallas awarded 2 points off the safety. They're up 5-0. Jeff Kemp trying to lead the Eagles back. Down 5-zip. Going up top, looking for Maurice Johnson. 31 yards later, the Eagles led it 7-5. Big day for the Dallas D. Russell Maryland, Jim Jeffcoat and company, one of 7 sacks. Fourth quarter, Philly up 10-8, biggest play of the game. Kelvin Martin, who was there when this team won only 1 game, got a great block from Isaac Holt and is gone. 85 yards, Dallas goes up 15-10. Midway through the fourth, they led by only 2. Steve Berline, Michael Irvin, his 7th TD of the year. Cowboys up 22-13. They would tack on a field goal and win it by the count of 25-13. And, of course, that defense, the big story, 7 sacks. They picked off Kemp twice. In their last meeting, the Eagles had 11 sacks. Today, they had but 1. Next week, the boys will host the Falcons. The Eagles will host the Redskins. Following their playoff-clinching win, the Cowboys talked about handling the Eagles' D.
Just played sound offensive line ball. We played as a team. We tried to know where our helps was. We tried to sit down on them. We didn't let them just collapse the pocket. We made them go around the pocket. We tried to build a little bowl in there.
We've been on this train for a long time in 6 games, and the train's just stopped right now. But I wouldn't get off yet because it's possible. It's still possible for us to get in there.
I think we got 1 sack and there's a few pressures, man. I mean, what else you want? I mean, they #1 rated in everything. They all were. They all were, man. We just a little team out of Dallas trying to win some ball games.
Biggest win you've ever had?
Oh, it's the biggest win up to this point, but as I've said, we've got bigger wins coming.
Jimmy Johnson's start in Dallas has some striking similarities to Bill Walsh's San Francisco beginnings. Both had tough starts, but impressive 3rd seasons. Walsh had 2 more wins than Johnson after 47 games. The Lions playing without 5 starters when they took on the Pack. Nice temperatures, 9 degrees at Lambeau Field. 14-10 Lions, early 4th. Mel Gray, why is he a Pro Bowler? Right here. He takes it back 78 yards. No clipping on that play right there on Melvin Jenkins. Lions went up 21-10. 4:15 left, the Pack rallies. Mike Tomczak looking for the former Ohio State Buckeye. Vince Workman has it out in the flats. Takes it in from 12 yards out, 21-17. 2 TDs for Workman. Wayne Fonts trying to keep those playoff hopes going. Keep them alive. Relying on the defense. 3rd and 10 near midfield. Short of the first 10. Lindy and Fonte says we're going for it. 4th and inches. Workman is stopped by Chris Spielman. He has done it all season long, along with Benny Blades. Lindy hoping, is that enough? Yes, it is. They held him. And Wayne Fonts and company run out the clock, win it by the count of 21-17. Sanders had a big first half. No rushing yards in the second half. Detroit has earned their first playoff spot since 1983 with their first win of the season outdoors. Green Bay lost for the 17th time in their last 20 games. Was it Lindy and Fonte's final home game? We will see. Next week, Detroit will be in Buffalo. Green Bay will be in Minnesota. Following their playoff clinching win, the Lions had this to say.
To come back and win the game is the character of this football team. Show the character of this football team and how well this football team is coached by an outstanding bunch of assistant football coaches. And let's not forget the players themselves. They executed the game plan. They played very well.
That banged-up Detroit defense has been standing tall this season, particularly over the past 5 games. Detroit has forced 33 turnovers during this span, but the end result is their first playoff appearance since 1983. Detroit will have to play in the postseason, though, without nose tackle Jerry Ball. An Atlanta win over the Seahawks would clinch a wild card berth, but Dave Craig was benched in place of Kelly Stauffer, the former #1 pick. Second pass picked off by Dion. He laterals to Tim McKyer. And then McKyer will eventually be dragged down. Dion wants everybody to know, I intercepted it. Don't forget that. The Falcons defense in prime form. The shotgun, Stauffer, shot down. Brian Jordan with the safety. Rick Bryan with the hit. Falcons led it 2-zip. Stauffer gone. Sprained right knee. Second half, Falcons up 12-0. Remember Dion with the interception? This is McKyer. Returns the favor. Well, Dion shows McKyer what you're supposed to do with it. Familiar with that Atlanta turf when he was there with the Braves. Takes it back, scores, and then the celebration. Falcons win it 26-13. Dion had 2 picks on the day and the big touchdown. Seattle has dropped 3 in a row. Atlanta has won 5 straight. Atlanta will play Dallas next week. The Seahawks close out their season with the Rams as we pig out with them. The key word is pig on Monday night or Sunday night. Following their playoff clinching win, the Falcons responded.
It's great to be in. That's been our goal since we started. And we told everybody last year when we were losing them that next year we'd get into playoffs. And if you're in, you had a good year. I didn't think it'd take this many wins to get in, but that's unusual. You know, 8 or 9 wins usually get you in there. It won't get you in this year.
They are not on par with the posse, but the Falcons' 2-man gang has put up some impressive numbers of their own during crunch time. Rison and Haynes have totaled 16 touchdowns over the past 8 games. As a result, Atlanta has gone 7-1 over this period. A little bit later on during this hour-long Sports Center, we will bring you Jerry Glanville as our Sunday night conversation, a lively chat with the man in black. With the week to go in the regular season, here are those in and those out and those still with a chance to get in. Washington has the home field advantage throughout. Chicago can clinch the Central with the win over the Niners or a Lions loss in Buffalo. Atlanta clinches the West with a win in Dallas or a loss by the Saints. The Saints need a win over the Raiders or the Cards to qualify. The Niners have to beat the Bears and then hope the Saints lose their final 2. The Eagles, tough road. They have to defeat Washington. The Saints have to lose their final 2, and the Niners have to lose to the Bears. Gary?
The weekend began with just 1 playoff spot remaining in the AFC and 4 teams fighting for it. But the Fish from Florida were the front runners, and if Miami didn't finish off the Jets this weekend, they'd meet them next Sunday face-to-face. In between was a Charger team Don Shula has struggled with. Hasn't had success against them. Dan Marino, though, picked them apart in a hot day in Jack Murphy. Rod Bernstein was answering on the ground for the Chargers. Tied at 10 in the 3rd quarter. Marino drops back. He's got time, and he finds Tony Page. But they missed the extra point the first time since his rookie season. Stoyanovich has done that. It was 16-10. Marino again to a juggling Mark Clayton. He gets in, and Miami up big, 23-10. Then the Chargers with a big 4th quarter rally and big Rod Bernstein. Bulls in. Chargers led it. The big comeback, 24-23. Then it's Bernstein again, doing his Marion Butts impersonation, diving in. 31-23 Chargers. Marino rallying in the final couple of minutes. Spots Mark Clayton for his 2nd touchdown of the game. They're within a point, 31-30. But Bernstein rumbles around the left side, and he's going to go 69 yards. Had 104 on the day. It's his 3rd touchdown of the quarter. They scored 28 points in the 4th quarter. What a day for Bernstein and Marino, despite going over 300 yards, loses 38-30 as the Chargers tie a club record with 28 points in the 4th quarter. They hadn't scored that many in a game all season. Marino passes Montana for all-time yardage with his game in 9 seasons as opposed to 13 for Joe. 3 of the last 6 had gone to OT. Shula has now 2-6 against San Diego. But in addition to his first regular season rushing touchdown in 2 years, Marino's 3 scores in his first 3 seasons got him a victory 90% of the time. But since 1986, he's done it 27 times now. Miami has now lost 15 of those games. The Jets had to win at the Meadowlands to make next Sunday's meeting with Miami meaningful. They had trouble with their kicking game. Pat Leahy struggling with injuries. He misses left from 23 yards out. But Bruce Coslett had a relief pitcher, Louis Aguiar, and he comes in with the game tied at 3, and he blew it from 27 yards out. 4th quarter, 4th and 11, not trusting his kicking game in these high winds. The Jets go for it, but Toon is short. Then Ken O'Brien, 4th down again in the 4th quarter. Mark Boyer's got it, but he dropped it. Bruce Coslett can't believe what's happening. They had to win this game. The Patriots relied on a ground game. Leonard Russell bulling his way for 112 yards on the day. They chew up the clock. Kenny O'Brien has one last chance late in the quarter, but the rush and Andre Tippett slap him down, and they score just 3 points. The Patriots win it 6-3. Aguiar's 1 field goal in the game is the first by a non-Leahy kicker in 12 years for the Jets. When Coslett was asked if he would watch the Dolphin game after losing, he replied, "No, there'll be too much traffic on the bridge. I won't get home in time." He got a break. The Dolphins lose. They play for a playoff spot next Sunday. At Mile High Stadium, the Cards and Broncos opening possession for Denver. John Elway to Sterling's brother. Shannon Sharp, a 2-yard touchdown. The Broncos would go up 10-0. Stan Gilbaugh had a baby this week, but he was out of the lineup. Chris Chandler was Joe Bugle's choice, and in the third quarter, down 17-6, Ernie Jones slips Wyman Henderson, and look at him tiptoe along the sideline, as well as breaking another tackle by Tyrone Braxton. He goes 45 yards. Suddenly, it's a game. 17-13. Take it to the fourth quarter. The Bronco blitz. Steve Atwater slapping down Chandler, ruled an incomplete. Then the replay officials overruled, called a fumble, but the refs whistle blew. Instead, they get a field goal. It's 19-17 Cardinals. Elway rallying in the final few minutes. He takes his own number and goes in from 4 yards out, capping a 66-yard, 6-play drive, and the Broncos pull it out. Elway did throw 3 interceptions for the first time in 72 games that led to 3 of the 4 Greg Davis field goals, but Denver wins it. They host San Diego. They have the best home record in the NFL in Reeves' 11 years. They'll need to win that as Phoenix hosts the Saints, another playoff-bound team, to see if they can upset them.
More NFL action coming up in a smidge, but this college hoop note. Sunday afternoon, Florida State wanted to show 5th-ranked North Carolina that they plan on being a force in the ACC for years to come. The problem was the Seminoles didn't show up with a full force. 2 players were sitting out suspensions following a bench-clearing brawl with Florida A&M last week. One FSU player who successfully appealed his suspension was Sam Cassell, the hot hand early. Sam inside, Sam outside for 3. Good. He outscored UNC 14-13 at one point. Derek Phelps the steal. The pass to Pat Sullivan, and the Heels up 33-29. But Cassell, the one-man gang, drives. This time misses, but Andre Reed is there. Dean Wolf not pleased. His team down by 7 at the break. Second half, the Heels making a run. Hubert Davis for 3. Good. He had 21. 7 threes. But the Noles too much. Cassell. The off-balance Jay. Yes. And the FSU fans. The Tomahawk Chop? No, it's the Seminole Chop. Players celebrate their first ACC win in their first ACC game. The final 86-74, the Seminoles' only other win over the Tar Heels in 1972 during the Final Four. Dean Smith's 93-year-old father died in a Raleigh hospital prior to the game. He was told about it. He did not tell his team until afterwards. Still to come on the show, more college hoops, including the Boilermakers and Bulldogs from West Lafayette.
And here are some other items you can expect to see ahead on this SportsCenter. It's still a circus atmosphere here on SportsCenter. The Redskins passing parade trying to puncture a homely losing streak to the Giants. In the flurries at Cleveland, the Oilers trying to rearrange their outdoor reputation. It all comes down to a last-second chip shot. This season has been a comedy of errors for the Bengals. Even the refs disrespect them. How would the Steelers treat them? Our conversation is with the candid coach, cowpoke Jerry Glanville, who comes out with guns blazing.
A general manager, I would slash my wrist. I'd rather die than be a general manager.
They're eventually headed for Canton, but with twilight approaching, Ronnie Lott and LT talked with Tom Jackson about losing a step.
What things can't you do now that you could do then?
Well, I can't stay out all night, I'll tell you that.
And as Isiah Thomas nurses a major Malone migraine, the Pistons and Jazz discuss dirty tactics and paybacks.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud.
I really enjoyed it tonight.
I had
It was a great party, great fun with food.
Yes, I had a wonderful time, and the stars are so beautiful tonight.
Yeah, they light up the sky. Hey, you know, we gotta do this more often.
I think so.
Next time.
Spend the evening on December 28th gazing at the stars as Budweiser brings you the 12th consecutive Lou Rawls Parade of Stars to benefit the United Negro College Fund.
My new shoes, Reebok Omni-Zone.
Reebok Omni-Zones?
Yeah, very lightweight, which is key for this jam.
Oh, yeah? Which jam?
The King Kong jam.
Ready when you are, three!
Dart brings you the world of big events. The big bowl games, concerts, the championship games, the playoffs, title fights, hit movies, big events, big on Sharp Vision, the liquid crystal projection system with the 8-foot picture that makes you feel like you're there. Now, see Terminator 2 on Sharp Vision. See a demonstration and you could win a trip to a Hollywood premiere and the Terminator's jacket. Buy Sharp Vision and get a $500 rebate. Sharp Vision. For information, call 1-800-BE-SHARP.
At Acura, we believe that a luxury sedan should appeal to a driver's appreciation of soft leather, fine wood, and beautiful stretches of asphalt. The Acura Legend sedan.
Tonight's analysis is brought to you by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance.
As usual, in this second half of the season, there was a pig out here on ESPN in the game that figured to be an oinker at the Hoosier Dome.
I think it was. Chris Berman fills us in on whether the Colts could offer any resistance to the AFC's top team, the Bills. Chris?
Sunday Night Football on ESPN, 7 straight down-to-the-wire tilts. Well, tonight we had our 8th game and 7 straight down-to-the-wire tilts. The Buffalo Bills against the Indianapolis Colts, and let's face it, it was indeed Goliath at David. The Colts, house of frustration, only 1 win all year. They watched Jim Kelly to James Lofton 14 yards early on. The Bills led a 14-0. Then watch goalpost cam show you Jimbo to Kenneth Davis. It was 21-0 Bills. Bills do it on defense. Bruce Smith now back in the lineup, 3 games. Playing only his 4th game all year. There he is. Hello to Darvell Huffman. It was such a blowout that Steve Tasker said, I got to hit somebody. How about my head coach, Marv Levy? Ouch, babe. I'll tell you, in the Hoosier Dome, a glue factory. The Colts, with the loss, clinch the #1 draft pick for the coming year. And if they win next week at Tampa Bay, they clinch the #1 and #2 draft pick because they own the Buccaneers as well. Oh, by the way, Buffalo clinches home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. 35-7, that's the final score as the Bills roll the Colts, but who doesn't? Joe Theismann, of course, in the Hoosier Dome tonight, watching the game. Not a lot of suspense tonight, Joe, but let's face it, you guys were due. Buffalo, are they steamrolling toward the Super Bowl, or might they have problems? What do you think after tonight?
I don't think they'll have problems, Chris. I think they're very healthy coming into this game. Of course, you know, with Lofton going out with a little nick, Thomas going out early, and Kelly with knees. All very minor injuries. I'm sure Marv wanted to get him out of this one as quick as they could. They are hitting a stride right now, and that's the one thing you look for in a football team. When are they starting to peak? When is every cylinder starting to hit right? And for the Bills, it's starting to hit right now.
Thurman Thomas left the game early. He would like to win a rushing title, but because he left early, fell behind now Barry Sanders, who he goes up head-to-head against next week. What's Thurman's condition, Joe?
Thurman is okay. He just twisted an ankle slightly on the play. They have a little foot, little ankle problem. But it isn't so much that Thurman wants to win that rushing title, Chris. He wants it because his offensive linemen look at him and say, listen, we want it for you. He's got a little bonus built in for them if they do get it, and he does get the title. Interesting thing enough, though, is that he's also made an offer possibly to the defensive line. Says, hey, look, if you can do a good job on Barry next week, help me out to win it. Maybe I'll slide a little bonus your way, too. So you got both the defensive and offensive lines looking at a little extra pay.
Wow, a little Christmas spirit shown by Thermal Thomas.
Right.
All right, and Christmas spirit for you guys next week in another dome. Hey, 7 out of 8 close. Let's make it 8 out of 9 next week.
I think we're due for another one again.
All right, Joe, thanks. We'll see you next week, of course. And our football weekend begins here on ESPN. Saturday, remember, double dip for game days, 11:30 a.m., a half hour, then the usual game at noon on Sunday, game day. And then our game on Sunday night, it's a pig out, the Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. And tomorrow night, we'll be talking to you about the early and the late sports centers. We go down to New Orleans and see if the Saints can beat the Raiders. If so, the Saints will clinch a playoff spot. If the Raiders win, they're still in line to win the AFC West, providing that they win and the Broncos lose next week. But that's next week. Let's go back to tonight's show and Dan.
Thank you, Chris. The Oilers are tired of hearing about how their run-and-shoot offense is only made for indoor use. On Sunday afternoon in Cleveland, Houston was outside, but smack inside a snowstorm. These two met a couple of weeks ago in the Astrodome, with the Oilers needing some last-second heroics. They would need some again. The Dogs, they love the snow. Second quarter tied at 7. Kosar to Brian Brennan, his first touchdown of the year. Browns led it 14-0 at halftime. Moon trying to pick up his team. An 80-yard drive, 2.5 minutes to go. He hits Haywood Jeffries. They ruled it a touchdown. The Oilers went up 17-14. With the snow coming down, it's Kosar's turn. Can he lead the Browns back? 2-minute drill. 30 seconds to go. Kosar, Brennan. Brennan to the 12-yard line. 23 seconds to go. Kosar Can't find anybody open. He keeps it himself. And Bernie taking on the linebackers. Down to the 3-yard line. 4 seconds to go. Matt Stover to send it into overtime. No. And for Matt Stover, who lost his footing on the kick, wants to just sit there and contemplate. No sense heading into the locker room yet. Houston wins it 17-14. As for Warren Moon, 26 of 40, 250 yards. He has completed 382 passes this season. That is a new NFL mark, surpassing Dan Marino. Houston keeps alive their hopes for the first-round bye. Next week, Houston will visit the Giants. The Browns will be in Pittsburgh. In the AFC playoff picture, the Bills have clinched the home field advantage throughout the playoffs with the win tonight. Denver clinches the West with a win against the Chargers. The Raiders can clinch with 2 more wins and a Denver loss. Now, the last spot will be decided by these 2 teams. Miami hosting the Jets. The winner is in. It's as simple as that. The Bengals in Pittsburgh, where Bubby Brister got the call, and his brigade showed up, vowing not to mop up. Bubby, Steelers opening drive. Merrill Hodge with a great block, and that is the rookie Adrian Cooper dancing down the sidelines, filling in admirably for Eric Green. Bubby, you want more? You got more. Oh, picked off by David Fulcher. Fulcher takes it back 27 yards, his 4th INT, 10-7 Steelers. Tied at 10 in the 4th. Bubby to Keith Cash. What else but on the money? 17-10 Steelers. It is a final. But Boomer would like to forget this year. It has been a long one. The worst in franchise history. That's the way it's been for Boomer. Looking up. That's the only thing that's been looking up. Next week, the Bengals will end their misery when they host the Pats. The Steelers will host the Browns. Cincinnati 2-13, assured of their worst season effort. Cincinnati lost at 3 Rivers for the first time since 1987.
The Redskins won't play a game that means anything to them until the first weekend in January when they host a second-round playoff game. But even enjoying the NFL's best record and facing a mediocre 500 team, if it's the Giants, there's always something at stake. Speaking of pig-outs, it was a festive holiday mood at RFK. Giants were up 3-0 when Mark Rippon went to work, and this is why the Giants are having such a terrible season. Myron Guyton and Perry Williams both failed to tackle Gary Clark, who goes into the end zone 65 yards out. Ray Hanley shell-shocked. Redskins back up 14-10 when Rippon spots a wide-open Terry Orr, 24-10 at the half. Then in the 3rd quarter, Phil Simms rallies the Giants. A bullseye to Mark Ingram in the end zone from 18 yards out. Simms 23 of 41 for 288 yards in that score. He got him within 10. But the Redskins' offense never stopped. Another long-distance aerial. Again, it's Clark, a 50-yard strike. Lawrence Taylor's team gives up 34 points in the game, the most the defending Super Bowl champs have allowed this season. And the Redskins are now 14-1. The Giants are under 500. They'll host Houston Saturday. The Skins move on to the Vet to play Philly. They hadn't beaten the Giants at RFK since '87. They sweep New York for the first time since that season when they last won it all. The Giants, the latest victims of Mark Rippon stepping his game up even further. A staggering touchdown to interception ratio the past 6 weeks, and now 8 touchdown bombs of at least 45 yards, 5 of them to Gary Clark. At the side of the Super Bowl in the Metrodome, the Vikings maintaining a sliver of postseason hope. Old salty Jerry Burns looking to stay in the playoff hunt, and Herschel Walker for the 4th straight game getting in the end zone. Vikings lead 7-0 on the Rams. 13-7 in the 4th quarter when Jim Everett, the worst of his 4 interceptions. This one to Reggie Rutland at the goal line, and Rutland's gone. 97 yards untouched. Vikings go up 20-7. The latest misery in what has been a deplorable season for John Robinson. Jim Everett lost the snap and fumbled when his team was down by just 6. So 5 turnovers by Everett alone, even though he threw for 263 yards, and perhaps a couple of coaches consoling themselves. It's the 2nd straight time the Vikes have missed the playoffs despite the league's easiest schedule. Burns' final game will be against Green Bay next Sunday. John Robinson might be right behind him after the Rams play at Seattle. They'll carry a 9-game losing streak into their game, the longest since they moved to the coast from Cleveland.
It's almost like John Robinson has fired himself. He says, maybe I need a break. I know that the organization needs a change.
Yeah, he's kind of a lame duck now, and I think not only those two, there could be some more behind them out of jobs.
Still to come on the show, our Sunday night conversation with a guy who does have a job and has done a very good job, the Falcons, Jerry Glanville.
He is the opinionated one, but let's give you some of the star performers from Sunday, including these men on the ground. And the aerial shows from this 16th Sunday. Dan Marino, the only man to get over 300 yards. When we come back, Tom Jackson takes a closer look at a couple of future Hall of Famers who have lost a step but have gained new insights into their games.
The Corchester Athletic Club is once again the people's choice as the #1 health club in the Southern Tier. Here are a few reasons why. This holiday season, give the gift of fitness to the area's #1 health club. Gift certificates, temporary memberships, and student specials now through Christmas. Stop by the Corchester today, Reynolds Road, Johnson City, across from the Oakdale Mall.
It's the holiday extravaganza at both locations of Front Street Clothing Outlet. Thursday, December 12th through Sunday the 15th, you'll find all holiday sweaters, blouses, sportswear coordinates, and holiday dresses reduced by an additional 25%. How about Liz Roberts and Anthony Sakari dresses for $25? Men's Pierre Balmain tie and handkerchief sets as low as 2 for $15. That's at both locations of Front Street Clothing Outlet in the Enwell Plaza and at 333 Front Street, Binghamton. Visa, MasterCard, Discover Card, and personal checks accepted.
Send your love through flowers, across town or across the world. Contact your local Southern Tier FTD florist.
They're still building walls around some kids with epilepsy. Walls that can keep them away from other children. While some need special help, they don't need walls. Get the facts. Call Epilepsy Foundation of America, 1-800-EFA-1000.
And getting hammered by Malone. And then coming to Isiah's aid was his teammate Darrell Walker. Well, Malone was tossed out of the game for a flagrant foul. Pistons coach Chuck Daly had to be restrained. Take another look at it, and decide if Malone meant it on purpose. Isiah, 40 stitches. He did return to the game, but here are some of the post-game comments.
From where I was standing, it didn't look like he went after the guy other than to just try to make sure he put his body in position on him. I couldn't see anything else that he did, but obviously Isiah got hurt on it, and that's the last thing we want to see happen to anybody.
I just hope they do it the same way they do any player such as myself, and you got to think large suspension.
Isiah could use a little more believable spokesperson than Bill Laimbeer in this incident. Detroit feels the incident was premeditated, stemming from the last meeting between these two. That's when Isiah lit up the future Olympian John Stockton for 44 points. They felt that the Jazz didn't want that to happen this time around in Stockton's backyard. The Clippers' 7-game winning streak is their longest since 1984. They haven't lost since November 29th. L.A. coming off that overtime win Friday night against the Jazz as they welcome the Magic Sunday night. Chalk up another victory for the Clippers, 8th in a row. As for the Magic, they are struggling. They are reeling. They have lost 12 of their last 13, including 7 straight. Big night for Ron Harper and also for Danny Manning. The Kings' 5-game, 10-day road trip started on a downer with a loss in Portland Saturday night. Sunday night, Sacramento, their next stop was the fabulous Forum. L.A. had 3 days rest following a home loss to the Jazz coming into this one. Gary?
As the final week of the NFL season approaches, Ronnie Lott is getting ready for a postseason in a new conference. Lawrence Taylor is wondering how much the ravages of aging have been a factor in keeping himself and the reigning Super Bowl champs out of the playoffs. As they slip into the twilight of their careers, Tom Jackson spent time with a pair of players on their way to Canton, wondering how much they have left on the field.
Ronnie Lott and Lawrence Taylor. For the last decade, they defined defensive greatness. With their combative style of play, they revolutionized their position. But now, the physical skills they once dominated opponents with have started to deteriorate.
And Testaverde that time somehow got away from Lawrence Taylor.
Brian had his man beat so badly that the ball underthrown and Brian falling down, he was still able to make the catch.
You have to accept it. I think the great players accept change. Great players accept change and then do something about it.
What they do is adjust, compensate somehow for that physical loss.
Now, as you get older,
yeah.
what things can't you do now that you could do then?
Well, I can't stay out all night, I tell you that. Can't do that, but I tell you, I see the game now. It's more of a mental game for me. I have to mentally prepare myself. The speed is not there like it used to be. The strength is not there like it used to be. So I have to make adjustments and try to play the game more on a mental plane than a physical plane.
For LT, that means being aware of the entire field, studying his opponent. It used to be a case of unbridled recklessness. Number 56 in relentless pursuit of the quarterback.
If I don't get 4 sacks tonight against this summer dog, God. Son, I gotta do better than this. Once upon a time, I used to be like reckless in the band and just go off all any way I wanted to do, and wasn't worried about making mistakes. You know, it was no big deal because I felt I was quick enough to react back to where I had to be. Now I'm a little bit slower, so I have to, I would say, know what I'm doing first before I make my decision.
The 49ers left Ronnie Lott unprotected as a Plan B free agent. As he's transformed himself into a Raider, Lott has learned to rely less on physical skills and more on technique.
You know, I know in my position, by keeping the guy in front of me, I don't think it's anybody better in the league if it's somebody in front of me. So I try to make sure that if it's whoever it is that's faster than me, that he's always in front of me.
Lott leads the NFL with 8 interceptions, 6 of those coming in the fourth quarter or overtime. He's still making the big play, drawing on advice a veteran teammate once passed along.
You're going to reserve your energy at times. That's a thing that has been pointed out to me. Freddie Solomon used to tell me, "Hey, now, champ, you're getting a little older, champ. You got to, you have to watch what you're doing. You can't always go and take everyone out. You have to, pick and choose your hits."
In the early years, they relied on their extraordinary physical talent. But Ronnie Lott now admits to being fearful of what a big hit might do to his body. As for LT, it's a different fear.
Maybe it's not the physical play that scares you as much as the yourself, you doubting yourself pretty much, wondering if you still can do it, wondering if you still can make this certain play, if you can still get over to the other side, if you can still do certain things. And that's the fear that I guess I'm faced with as I go and play football nowadays is, am I getting too old? Can I still do it?
It's interesting. The Niners thought that lost step meant Lott couldn't cover. He's having one of his best seasons in interceptions. And then instead of staying away from LT now, they run right at him. That's the best strategy against the Giants.
Imagine if they had this analytical approach when their physical skills were so extraordinary. Just how great they would be, but you never think about that until it's later in your career and say, that's the only way I can get by. Still to come, more college hoop highlights as the Georgia Bulldogs travel to meet the Purdue Boilermakers.
And we're also going to bring you our Sunday night conversation with Jerry Glanville. He doesn't have many team rules, but what he asks his player to abide by may surprise you.
All the fights within our team have to be on the second bus. You're not allowed to fight on the first bus. When we go from the locker room to the airport, if you want to fight somebody on our team, you both got to get on the second bus. So we have rules.
What kind of car is this?
A Sentra.
Would you consider selling it?
No.
Would you sell it for $150,000? Okay, $250.
$250, sir, your change.
The Nissan Sentra GXE, because rich guys shouldn't have all the fun.
Thank you, Doctor.
I'm not a real doctor, but if I were, I'd recommend ligament for occasional muscle pain.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
For the battery that performs 3 times better than industry standards, you've got to get to Sears.
Out here, if you don't have a diehard, you don't have a prayer.
Sears diehard. More power when you need it most.
Who's going to back it better than Sears?
Welcome back to SportsCenter. The Falcons have had head coaches with names like Norb Hecker, Pat Pepler, and Jim Hanifin. Their individual stays in Atlanta didn't last long as they combined for a total of 7 wins in 5 years. The Falcons' Jerry Glanville doesn't plan on somebody else telling him when it's time to leave. His approach to the game has been described as American horsepower at full throttle. His Falcons wrapped up a playoff berth with their 26-13 win over the Seahawks on Sunday afternoon. This was Atlanta's 5th straight win. They can clinch the NFC West with the win next week against the Cowboys or a Saint loss. There is a pattern developing with Jerry Glanville. In his first year with both the Oilers and the Falcons, Glanville went 5-11. In his second season with the Oilers, Glanville went to the playoffs. He is headed to the postseason in his second season with Atlanta. The Man in Black, our Sunday night conversation with Andrea Kramer.
Of Atlanta for Jerry Glanville, and they've had problems on the ground as well this year, but it is McIers with the interception, hands it off to Sanders on the lateral. Sanders on his way, may go all the way. Only Craig, he's in. Touchdown Atlanta. The NFC Western Division champions late tomorrow night if the Raiders help out.
Now you measure success, I think, by how long it takes them to forget you after you left, not how long you're there. I don't think you take a job trying to see how long you can stay. I'd rather be there 3 years and it takes them another 6 years to forget you than be there 12 years and when you're gone they never remembered you were there.
Do you think that your style of coaching wore thin in Houston?
Well, I think what happens to you all the time is we get people to play so hard and play so well that then they overestimate what we have and they want you to win more games where we were doing a good job winning as many games as we did. The following year, the year after we left, the only reason they got into playoffs was because they added another team, and then they were beat so bad in the playoffs that if that would have been me coaching that team, I never would have got back to Houston. I would have been fired before the plane landed. I think some of the people in the organization were thin on me. It's a two-way street.
So who doesn't like you? Why do you manage to create so many enemies?
Because I don't think you go through life worrying if anybody likes you. I think if you're going to make decisions, then you can't worry about making enemies. The people that make decisions have half the people say, I don't like that decision. So if you want a whole lot of friends, what you do is you go in the corner, you get a glass of milk, you suck on your thumb, and you let somebody else make the decisions, and everybody likes you. Where we just sort of say, this is what we're going to do, this is the decision, and if you like it, fine. If you don't, we don't care. And that's the way we sort of rock and roll through this thing.
But do you, knowing what you need for your personal growth, for your challenges, do you feel you like to move on after a couple of years?
Well, I think the way my career's gone, people always say, where's your next job? And I always say, where's the worst team? Because it seems as though no...
Do you thrive on that?
Well, no, it's not by design. I tell everybody, no great team, when the 49ers were looking for a coach and I was out of work, I stared at the phone for 3 days, and finally I called the operator to see if it was working. No great teams. I know Eddie DeBartolo. I said, well, he'll probably call me. Well, I waited. The phone never rang. So this is not by design. We are not suicidal by nature. It just sort of has evolved.
The Chuck Nolan, Sam Weishes of the world have criticized you for teaching so-called dirty tactics. Is there any merit to that?
None whatsoever. And I think before you let somebody's comment like that bother you, you just evaluate where it came from. And if it comes from somebody that you truly respect and somebody that you would bother listening to, then you take a look at it.
In 1988, did you really challenge your players to break 100 face masks?
We were on a good, yeah, I think we did. I don't know if the challenge was there, but we were on the road to successfully doing that. I don't know whether we accomplished that or not. I've lost track of that, but we were proud that we broke up a lot of face mask hitting people. I knew we were very aggressive, we were very tough.
Can you instill discipline while still having the aggressive, reckless style that is sort of a trademark of your teams?
We have discipline on what we feel is important to discipline on.
Such as?
Oh, such as when the game on the bus. All the fights within our team have to be on the second bus. You're not allowed to fight on the first bus. When we go from the locker room to the airport, if you want to fight somebody on our team, you both got to get on the second bus. So we have rules. And if you want a nice, quiet ride, you get on the first bus. So we have some discipline.
So all hell breaks loose on the second bus.
Oh, the second bus. Now, unfortunately, we've torn the bathroom out and knocked the window out, but we know that if you get on the second bus, you got to be willing to, you know, rock and roll. If the coach gets on there, you know, that's the way we go. So we have rules, and you just have to decide, you know, which bus you're going to get on.
What was it like back in 1967 with Joe Bugle? You're both assistants at Western Kentucky, 2 bachelors.
Well, I was at a real disadvantage because he was very good looking, and I couldn't get a date, and he wouldn't share. He was the big man on campus, and he had a car, and I had a walk, and for me to get
no motorcycle?
I didn't have any wheels. I sold everything to go to school. I did drive the bus for the bowling team. So if I got a date, you'd have to go with me on the bus.
The ladies bowling team, no
The
way.
ladies bowling team. So I was at a disadvantage. And he taught first aid to the co-eds. And so he had a handle on everything if you wanted to get an A in first aid. And I was a bowling instructor and drove a bus. So but we had a lot of fun. And we learned a lot of football. And at that time, it was obvious that here's one of the best coaches that you'll ever be around. It didn't matter what level you coached at, didn't matter where you're going. Here is a big-time football coach.
It's interesting, though. You also played baseball in high school with a pretty good coach named Jim Leland. Now, you and Leland couldn't be more different in terms of coaching styles. Did you ever talk to him now? You ever learn anything from him now, or?
I watch him, you know, and it was very hard for me. In fact, when they came to play the Braves, I couldn't go to the stadium because I wanted the Braves to win, but you can never root against your high school buddy, the guy that he knows more skeletons than that should ever be allowed. I mean, he could go public and end both of our careers tomorrow, and I love the guy. So I was very, and everybody said, "Are you going?" I said, "I can't go. I can't go there and not root for the home team, and I can't go there and not root for Jim Leland."
As a coach, I mean, any aspirations to be a general manager, an owner?
A general manager, I would slash my wrist. I'd rather die than be a general manager. An owner, I'd have to have such creative financing. I don't think anybody's ever bought a club on a Visa card. It's the only credit card I have, and I don't think I could get it that way.
So football's it for you. Even though you got the music interest, you love to drag race, huh?
I love car racing, and I don't golf, I don't fish, I don't hunt, I don't do any of these. I'd rather watch paint dry than do these things. But I do love to get in a car and race a car. So next year, we hope we're on the Grand National Busch Circuit and be able to mash that accelerator all the way down.
Of course, no matter what you accomplish, no matter how many times you get your teams in the playoffs, everybody wants to know, why don't you leave tickets anymore?
Well, when I was in Texas, we got a new general manager named Mike Holovac. I don't know if you've ever met him. And he said I could leave tickets. I just couldn't tell anybody who I left him for. He was a lot of fun. He was a real fun guy.
Think Elvis ever picked up his tickets?
Not in Memphis. But it's funny because just yesterday I got a tape recorder from him wanting playoff tickets for this year.
Sunday's Conversation is brought to you by Ektar Film from Kodak for advanced photographers. The genius is in the details.
Up next, the richest payday in all of tennis. A $2 million prize awaits Michael Chang or David Wehaton. When SportsCenter returns next.
It is from Kodak. It delivers the highest resolution. Microfine grain. Superior image structure. For ultra-sharp detail. It is called Ektar. Ektar Film by Kodak. The genius is in the details. Ektar Film now comes in a new cartonless package in 25, 100, and 1,000 speeds.
the Marines.
My wife sent me to Payless for some shoes. I didn't even know Payless had men's shoes. Well, right away I liked the place because there's no salespeople breathing down your neck, and they got all the shoes out. So you don't have to keep saying, you got this in a 10? Have you got this in a 10? For once, I get a pair of shoes I like with no hassle. You ought to call it painless.
Hurry into Payless and find these men's shoes on sale starting at just $12.99 for shoe shopping that's painless. Who'd have guessed? Payless.
The Los Angeles Rams, Jim Everett, hungry to fire up his troops. The Seattle Seahawks, ready for this Wild West shootout. Big Out, next Sunday.
It's Sunday night, Big Out, ESPN.
It's showtime on ESPN Bowl Week. Air Force invades Mississippi State in the Liberty Bowl. BYU attacks Iowa in the Holiday Bowl. And East Carolina stalks NC State in the Peach Bowl. Live on ESPN.
Welcome back to SportsCenter and more college hoops now. Last December, Georgia lost by a point to Purdue in its own building. This afternoon in West Lafayette, they were looking to return the favor in a game that came down to the final shot between the Bulldogs and the Boilermakers. Hugh Durham's best player is the All-SEC performer, Laterrell Green, who came in averaging 22 a game, but forgot something on his way to the hole. Wiped out by Link Donner. Then trying for three. Green couldn't find anything. Outside again. Just couldn't get it going, and the Bulldogs were missing on all 5 cylinders. Durham concerned, still in the first half. Woody Austin, a big game. With the steal, the Boilermaker goes coast to coast and lays it home. Katie's team up by 10. Then in the second half, Georgia stages the comeback. Reggie Tinch gets it to go. Georgia down only 3. Then 3 seconds left. It's a 2-point game. Purdue hits the free throw, and now closing seconds. Who do they go to? They still go to their money man, Green. Tries to tie it and sends it to OT, but it clanks off. 0 for 5 from three-point range. 2 for 15 from the floor. Purdue now 3-0 lifetime against Georgia. The Dogs play 13th-ranked Georgia Tech Wednesday night in the Omni. At Gainesville, Radenko Dobras had 29 points. He was 5 of 5 from three-point range. After beating their Tampa neighbors 8 straight times, the Gators lose for the 2nd straight year to fall from the unbeaten. The Bulls move to 5-1.
In his 6 years on the tennis tour, American David Wehaton's resume read 1 win, $960,000. On Sunday, Wehaton had a chance to match his win total and double his lifetime earnings. All that stood in the way of a $2 million payday was fellow American Michael Chang. We take you to Munich for the finals of the Grand Slam Cup. Wehaton on the left, Chang on the right. First set, Wehaton, very strong serve, overpowering Chang. He took the first set 7-5. Second set, Wehaton, the powerful forehand winner. Off Chang's return, that would hit the net. Wehaton wins the second set 6-2. Chang returns volley. Wehaton, pinpoint drop shot, wins the point again. Even the chair umpire saying this one is over. Well, match point. Let's be official here. And the bullet. Wehaton, a $2 million payday. 7-5, 6-2, 6-4. The 22-year-old Wehaton says he hopes the money doesn't change him. It's hard to call Chang a loser. He takes home $1 million.
When we come back, a couple of games in the NHL, the Wings had a chance to tie up for the best record in the league. We'll tell you about that.
And also a special early Christmas present for you, a holiday edition of the Plays of the Week. But please, try to control yourself. Still a few minutes before we tackle that.
McDonald's welcomes you to Neverland from Steven Spielberg's new movie, Hook, where you'll find the Never Tree and where there's...
Never food! Never food!
There's never food. Look, it's snowing!
So in the spirit of the season, McDonald's is offering something special. McDonald's gift certificates in $5 books, good for everyone's favorite food. And they all ate happily ever after.
It wakes up sleepy purples and helps canary yellows to fly. It gives the blues a wonderful bump and even helps the roses to look rosier. It's Fuji color, and it's the reason why more people are looking into Fuji films every day. Fuji, a new way of seeing things.
A kiss? No, I'm sorry. I don't think so.
Oh, no, please, no, baby, no.
Oh, not a good idea. Not now.
No, bad time.
Fight morning breath with Scope. Scope has 2 powerful ingredients that kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Your kiss is ready. Pucker up.
Right on the kisser.
Come on.
Kiss morning breath goodbye with Scope.
Give me that kiss. The hardest thing for a player to accept is his career coming to an end.
I did Sustanon 250, which was 4 testosterones in 1.
Towards the end, I just knew I couldn't play without him.
I don't want anybody to be hurt by it anymore.
Well, I think we're starting to get some control over it.
Now to the night in the pucks, and sitting atop the Norris Division is the league's hottest team. In Detroit's last 17 games, they have been branded with a loss only once. Sunday night, the Red Wings continued their 6-game road trip, with Edmonton being stop number 2. Detroit coming off a 4-3 win Saturday in Calgary. We take you to Edmonton and the Northlands Coliseum. First period, Bobby Dulles fakes out Kelly Buchberger, shoots and scores 1-0 Wings. We stay in the first, and we stay with Detroit on the offense. Stevie I. Craig McTavish deflects it past Billy Ranford, 2-0 Wings. They go on to win it by the final of 4-1. The Red Wings tie Montreal and Washington for the NHL point lead at 44. The Oilers just their 4th loss in 15 home games. The Flyers visited the stadium for an afternoon affair, and even overtime couldn't settle this one. Eddie Belfour is now 6-0-1 at the stadium. Philadelphia coach Bill Dineen now 1-1-4 as Philadelphia's head coach. Next up, Gary and I will return as we dig into our bag of goodies and pull out the plays of the week, a special edition for you holiday shoppers.
Season to be jolly, but it's also the season to drink wisely. In this spirit, we make Jenny N.A. for those times that call for a Jenny, but don't call for alcohol.
Chi-Chi's introduces a whole lot of enchilada. 2 chicken, 2 beef for 2 chicken Supremas enchiladas, plus a hot fudge sundae. And that's a whole lot of enchilada.
What's for lunch at Chi-Chi's? Anything you want. Everything you want. Now, all you can eat. Just $4.99. Chi-Chi's Mexifest Buffet. For lunch.
As you get ready for some football Monday between the Raiders and Saints, join Dick for his Shap Talk at 8:30 Eastern with Mike Singletary, whose Bears close out the season next Monday at San Fran. This Sunday's Plays of the Week is a special Christmas shopping edition. With time running out to that big day, you will not see Ken Rudolph, Elf Samuelson, or Dick North Pole on this edition.
Also out shopping and unavailable for comment, Mark Price, Steve Christmas, and No Blitzen. Here's some of what's in store. Only 9 days left to get the shopping done. So no matter how much of a headache it is, get in the car and head for the mall, because we're going shopping on... We hope you've been saving for this. We know the Rangers' Mike Richter has. If you haven't, you can always steal. Kevin Willis did, and converted with the dunk. Steve Smith was a Grinch as well, but he gave his team a present. Hey, there's Santa. Hey, we're here. What should we get? A pass. Nice suggestion. Always a nice gift. KJ giving Tom Chambers the present. Jamar Johnson shared holiday cheer with Derek Chandler. Michael Jordan went out of his way to give to Scottie Pippen. Michael Williams presented Reggie Miller with the gift, not under the tree, under the basket. Better to give or better to receive? Jalen Rose gave, Jimmy King gladly received. Enough passes? All right, Kevin, okay, calm down. Still trying to find that parking spot? All right, let's go get some blocks. They're always fun to play with. Dennis Rodman had 2 against the Blazers. Terry Mills rejected this holiday offering. Dick McPherson encouraging goodwill towards man. While Paul Stanton played Scrooge to Ty Domi. And speaking of ties, they always make a nice gift. And if the shopping starts to get you down, you can always use them to put an end to it. Still trying to get that parking spot, huh? What do you say we visit another department and look for some neat stuff? There's plenty of Michael Jordan for everybody. Reggie Williams was flying high without the aid of reindeer. Would anyone like a book for Christmas, Michael? Still got that headache, huh? The gift of the week went to Stacey King, who got the bounce after his shot was blocked. And what magical, mystical powers allowed that to happen? We call it the spirit of Christmas.
Plays of the Week is delivered by Federal Express. All round the world, our most important package is yours.
Of all the softball players at the first Wilbro Company picnic, the loudest cheers